Cass, West Virginia, has been the site of sawmills and logging trains since the turn of the century. During the 1920s, when Cass was at its peak, it was home of one of the largest sawmills east of the Mississippi. Its most famous customers were Orville and Wilbur Wright, who in 1904 bought clear red spruce for their famous flying machines. In 1960, the mill shut down because the timber on the nearby mountains was depleted, and the stacks of the Shea locomotives fell silent. In 1963, the rails came to life as the state of West Virginia established the Cass Scenic Railroad. By 1968, operations once again reached the top of Bald Knob, and Cass quickly established itself as the most exciting steam tourist railroad in the eastern United States. In March of 1975, Shea No. 4, a log train, and 25 rail fans left the Cass Depot on a trip up Cheat Mountain to Bald Knob. The trip was organized by Carl Franz, a Maryland rail fan. He had a simple goal: to recreate scenes from Cass's glorious past. This meant quiet photo lines and no tourists or rail fans in their pictures. Although most Maurer Lumber Company trains were pushed up the hill, Carl departed from standard practice and invoked artistic license. Pushed log trains may be authentic, but pulled log trains are more photogenic. As the day went on, the snow flurries turned into a blizzard. These yearly trips became known as the Cass Photo Specials, and in 1977, operations were expanded to include 2 engines. Between Cass and the first switchback, one engine pulled the fans in an open tourist car so they could film a chase sequence. The open car was dropped at the switchback, and the log train proceeded uphill double-headed. A second caboose, or a tourist car, was added in later years to accommodate the larger number of fans, but they were dropped for most run-bys. In 1981, when the C&O abandoned its line through Cass, it was acquired by the state provide a train ride along the scenic Greenbrier River. From 1981 through 1985, the Cass Photo Specials were 2-day events, one day on the mountain and a second day on the 15-mile Cass to Durban branch. The Durban trips used conventional freight cars. In 1985, the photo specials moved to early May. The Durban trip featured 2 trains: the freight train powered by Western Maryland No. 6, and a photo train powered by a rare Western Maryland BL2 diesel. Since the freight train didn't have to drop the tourist cars for the photo stops, more time was available for run-bys. 35 in one day, a Cass all-time record. A flood washed out the Durban line in November of 1985 and left the Cass Scenic Railroad without a connection to the outside world. The 1986 trip featured the first ever 3-train race at Cass. It has become the photo special trademark. After 2 triple race sequences, the equipment is switched to make up 2 trains: a log train to photograph and a photo train to ride in. The last car of the photo train is the open car. It's great for enjoying the beautiful West Virginia scenery. The rear of the open car is the best seat in the house for watching and photographing the log trains storm up the mountain. Some years, a pacing or dolly shot is run to enable video and film cameras to get close-up shots of the Shea's running gear at speed. Sometimes the log train is run push-pull style for part of the trip. The most exciting shots consist of triple headers. Because Western Maryland Shea No. 6 is so much larger than the other Sheas, it is usually operated alone, whether on the log train or on the photo train. 1986 was the first run of the annual Fall Photo Specials. In 1991 and 1992, a new line was built between Old Spruce and Spruce to provide the Cass Scenic Railroad with a rail connection to the outside world. It also provided the photo special with some great new photo locations. During this period, the Cass to Bald Knob track was upgraded with new ties and 100-pound rail. This track upgrade enabled Western Maryland Shay No. 6 to operate on the mountain. In 1994, magnetic signs were first used to re-letter the engines for the Maurer Lumber Company. Green Frog Productions was invited to the spring 1995 trips to make a professional quality tape on the Cass photo specials.